Again, my name is Ismael Cuevas. Happy to be here on behalf of Amtrak. I am the Government Affairs Manager for the Chicago Hub Improvement Program. I'm really happy to be back, to be invited to speak in front of you all again. It's been 2 years and a half that I started working here, and I remember asking last year how many folks have taken Amtrak before. So I hope that the majority of people now have taken Amtrak in comparison to last year. So if I can get a raise of hands on how many people have taken Amtrak. See, I feel like the number's going up. So that's good. That's good. So I'll be talking about one of our major projects that we have at Amtrak. As you all know, it's the National Passenger Railroad. Provides services to across the country. Here in Chicago, we are the hub in the Midwest, so we have direct routes across the entire country. From those who were here last year and who didn't hear me speak, I had only traveled to a few stations. I can now say I've traveled to at least 15 states in the Midwest, or in the general area from here. So it's been a really awesome train ride to do these visits when I was working at state and local affairs for government affairs. But seeing this transformation now come to my city where I live, it's really powerful, and I hope to share. I hope that you all share the same enthusiasm that I have for this project. Also speaking of all the decarbonization efforts and the green energy and things like that, I'm also really happy to say that I rode a divvy bike here. So hopefully that contributed to the efforts that we all have. So let's start off. Let me see if I remember using this. Here we go. All right, so the Chicago Hub Improvement Program. So we'll call it CHIP. So we'll chip away at the presentation. We'll provide faster, safer, and more reliable service to support the Midwest growing ridership. We have a very ambitious goal for 2040 to double Amtrak's ridership. That's around 60 million people, right? So if we're thinking about and we're acting upon doubling our ridership, that also means that our facilities need to be able to handle that those passengers coming in, right? And so when we looked at Chicago Union Station, being the hub of the Midwest, we also have to expand the capacity of it, right? And ensuring that we have safe, reliable, and on-time trains, and people are getting to their destination safely. CHIP will also transform the regional and long-distance passenger rail service. As you all know, we have our regional trains. So, for example, you can take a train from Chicago to Champaign-Urbana, Springfield, St. Louis, Milwaukee, right? But we also have long-distance trains where you can go to Seattle, LA, New York, Boston, Texas, et cetera, et cetera. So CHIP will really help, our trains coming in and out of the station, improve that flow as well. So we have... I will be talking about two components of CHIP. So I'll be talking about the Chicago Union Station improvement projects, and then I'll talk about the Chicago Infrastructure Improvement Project. So I have a slide. I have a map here on your right. You can see Lake Michigan. You can see Chicago on the left, and then you can see Michigan on the right. So we have 5 projects in total, and I'll be focusing on that. So our goal for the Chicago Union Station improvement projects is to upgrade the performance and customer experience of the station. 2, reducing station and platform crowding. Some of y'all have been there, and you also know that Amtrak is the owner of the station, but Metro is also a tenant. So during rush hour, the station can get very packed. Adding capacity and accessibility for expanded services, improving air quality and at the platform level, which we'll go on there. So scope of work, concourse and platform renovations and expansions, and ventilation systems upgrades. Our partners are the Federal Railroad Administration, Illinois DOT, Cook County, City of Chicago, and Metro. And our schedule for this is the different projects have different schedules. So just brief overview, the mail platform reactivation target delivery date is for 2028. Same for the concourse improvement project for late 2028. And the commuter platform expansions and ventilation improvements are currently being initiated. Now, on the infrastructure improvement projects, that's a different component of the CHIP. Our goal here is to purchase the infrastructure to reduce travel times and improve reliability of current service. Scope, this means we acquire or build new infrastructure at several sites in the Chicago area, Northwest Indiana, and in Southwest Michigan, which is at number 5 on the screen. And our partners, obviously, we have to work with the host railroads, so CN, BNSF, Norfolk Southern, UP, CSX, and then our funding partners, Illinois DOT, City of Chicago, Cook County, Metra, and Michigan DOT. And our schedule for this is 30% design through the fiscal year 2025, and the construction sometime between fiscal year 26 and to 2030. So let's kind of dig into our station components. So very briefly, I'm not going to go through all 12 projects, but the ones that we'll be focusing on are number 1, the concourse capacity improvements, the mail platform reactivation, and commuter platform expansions, and then the ventilation improvements. But that map right here gives you an aerial view of the Chicago Union Station. You can see in blue the river, and you can see the Canal Street in green, which is currently being worked on by the Chicago DOT. So that's why you see a big kind of canopy blocking the street. So that's also adding to some of the congestion in that area, traffic congestion. So the mail platform reactivation for passenger use. So this is a really interesting picture. I took this yesterday to try to give you all like a better sense of what happens when you're at ground level. So on the left side, you see the unused mail platform. Yes, that mail platform used to be connected to the old post office. So if you've all been to the old post office, right, the mail used to be moved on via rail. So on the left, that mail platform is higher up than the current platform that you see there, right? So it's been unused for years, and you see our Amtrak train on the right-hand side using our current platform. So we want to activate the mail platform so it's to be able to be used by our passenger trains. So let me show you let's go through this. So this will also, in addition to activating the platform, it's also going to create additional rail capacity and operation flexibility at the station. So because those platforms are currently unused, we want to be able to bring in trains on that. So that would add capacity into the station. And it'll provide the first level boarding platform for Chicago Union Station, which it means it's just easier to access, right, for our passengers. So the preliminary engineering in terms of funding, currently using an FRA annual grant. For construction, we have a FRA Fed State Partnership grant. We're also using Amtrak FY24 annual appropriations for this reactivation. The schedule, it's 100% design phase is wrapping up, and it'll be issued for general contract that bid once other real estate easements are executed. And you can see our consultants at the bottom. So let's go to the next. So here's I'm trying to see why it's not moving. Here we go. Here's an aerial perspective of the mail platform. So in blue would be where the trains are pulling up into the station. So you see the concourse. In red is where the passenger per se would walk into the mail platforms. So that means that we're also going to have to build additional holding room for passengers, and we'll also have an office for police as well, right? So it's a little bit further of a walk from the concourse itself. So we have to be able to ensure that we are looking out for the safety of our passengers and for our equipment. And also, there was an emergency egress stairwell, so we have to also take that into account. So I just wanted to briefly show you, another aerial 3D perspective of where we are building those emergency egress stairwells. The concourse improvement projects. So as we were talking about earlier, there's a lot of congestion there currently. The last time the station was renovated was in the early 90s, and so we have pretty much reached the capacity of the station. And again, if we're at the capacity now in 2024, if we're looking to double our ridership by 2040, you can only imagine what it's going to look like. So we really want to ensure that we're opening up the spaces, that we're making it much more friendly to the customer, to the passenger as they're getting on their Amtrak train or their Metro train. So this one, in terms of for funding, we have preliminary engineering PE NEPA for the FRA annual grant. The final design is a combination of annual and discretionary grants, and construction for this is TBD. So we're currently seeking discretionary funding for that. The schedule, the PE is underway. Final design, we're targeting the spring of next year, 2025, and construction target of 2026, and it'll be about 2 to 3 year construction project. So we're in the construction. We'll have let's see, the designer of records, Epstein FX Collaborative, and then our construction manager and general contractor at TBD. And let me give you some of these, so you can visualize what's happening at the station and what the improvement is. So as you see, they're lined up. So you have a concourse, the mezzanine level, and the street and plaza. So these areas, as you can see on the bottom to your left, on the concourse level, the white area is where the passenger, like the passenger common areas. So you can see they're very, like, for example, if you're going north and south on the concourse level, it's a very thin white line kind of divided the station, right? So we want to be able to open up those spaces for this better passenger flow, and also for security purposes, that we have a better line of vision between the north and south platforms. The mezzanine level, or also where the food court is, right? Sometimes you go on there, it's pretty dark. The lines of sight aren't that good as well. So we want to make sure that we have a more inviting atmosphere. In the street plaza, where the old concourse building used to be, now we have these 3 entrances. We want to improve the entrances leading into the station. So that's all part of the scope. And part of this is also looking at the design character, right? So I want to show you on the left a conceptual drawing of the CUS Chicago Union Station concourse, and contrast it to the bottom, which is the old concourse of the Chicago Union Station. That building was demolished in 1969. So we're really trying to, when we're looking at these concepts, we're really trying to pay an homage and also be inspired by the amount of lighting that was coming into the station as well. So we want to renovate, enable passengers to like I said, to be much more efficient in the way that they move around, and just have a better time at the station. We want to create a more vibrant transportation center. Obviously, as we said, we are the hub, so we want to make sure that when we're welcoming in our visitors to Chicago, they get off the trains and they're greeted by this beautiful modern station, and obviously, provide a superior customer experience to our passengers. Again, these are conceptual drawings. I don't know where there we go. These are at the bottom are also conceptual drawings as well. So we're looking at 3 concepts: minimal, moderate, to maximal. And again, this is going to all depend on the type of funding that we receive, right? Obviously, we're striving for the maximal concept, but it's all going to depend on the funding as well. Platform capacity and ventilation improvements. So currently, as you see on the left, when people are getting off metro trains, the platforms are very narrow, and so I kind of gave you an illustration as to what we mean by widening in the platforms, right? So we want to make sure that there's better passenger flow, ADA accessible, and just faster boarding times for folks on the trains. And then the train shed ventilation solutions, right? We want to ensure that air is flowing from the platforms. So as you all have been on the train, sometimes it smells like exhaust down there, right? So we want to be able to make sure that we are able to ventilate that air from the outside and then towards the river. I'm going to quickly go through the infrastructure projects. So the infrastructure projects are really important to like I was saying, increasing capacity of our trains and improving reliability and speed. So currently, on our trains coming in from Champaign or Carbondale or City of New Orleans, they have to do this backup maneuver into the station. So let me forward. So you can see right here is an aerial view of Chicago of the St. Charles Airline Bridge. So if you're on 18th Street crossing the bridge and you look north, that bridge that's kind of like in the up position. So we want to be able to rehabilitate that bridge. So currently in the red, our trains are coming in from the east, and they have to go west on the red line, and they have to do this backup maneuver to go north back into the station. So that adds at least 10 to 15 minutes to the travel time, right? So really connecting the SCAL to the network would really help speed up our time, our passenger time. So you can see it here. It's a better illustration. This is the old way in the red, and in the new way by using the SCAL connector going into the station or going out of the station. I got 2 minutes left, so I have to speed this up. Yard storage and expansion assessment. So the potential acquisition of the Canal Street Yard. So here on your image, you see the yard on the left, and then you see on the right the White Sox stadium. So we need more yard space to maintain the additional fleet required to expand services to and from Chicago. And so we're in preliminary discussion with Union Pacific about the possible purchase of a yard. This will also offset space lost due to the SCAL connector, during construction and afterwards. So, and then we have another bridge that we're also where it's called the future treatment of the South Branch Bridge. So if any of you have been to Chinatown where Ping Tom Park is, you see the bridge, right? The one that goes up and down. So this bridge is used by almost all of Amtrak South and East trains, as well as Metro. This bridge has 1,200 bridge openings per year because of the insufficient current height of 10 feet. The Chicago standard is 21 feet. So, and we were talking about climate change and things like that. You can see on the right-hand picture, you see we have to install like a sprinkler system to cool the tracks and the mechanisms to lift the bridge during the summer. Because of the expansion and contraction of the steel, so you can see a kind of a bolt passing by as the bridge is lifted. So this bridge was built in 1914, so over 100 years ago. So Gannett Fleming is hired to conduct a future treatment study on how to best, I'm figuring out what we're going to do with this bridge. This will eventually feed into the PE NEPA at the end of this year. And the last thing is, I don't want to leave our neighbors Michigan out, so we also are looking at capacity expansion between Niles and Glenwood. That's the route that takes you to Detroit, Chicago to Detroit. So it's a 19-mile project area with Amtrak ownership. And so VHB and Quando are doing a PE NEPA work to determine if it needs double tracking or selected sidings to address the congestions going in and out, and again, increasing capacity. So that's what we have coming up, a really exciting work that's happening in the next couple of years, and I hope to see you all at Union Station taking a train sometime soon. So thank you so much.